So today we're gonna read Psalms 3 from Psalms Now by Leslie Brandt. Oh God, the obstacles that confront me today are so many, and even as they press in upon me, there are people about me who laugh at my childlike dependence on you. They claim that my faith is futile, that God is not interested in my petty problems. But God, you have surrounded me with your love. You envelop me with concern and undergird me with grace. When I reach out for you, you are close enough to hear and respond. Whether I am awake or asleep, you are near to me and will watch over me. I do not have to be afraid of these problems that assail me. The conflicts of my life will not separate me from you. I constantly seek your deliverance from all that hurts or hinders. You are able to rid my life of everything that may threaten my relationship to you. You will, in your own good time, set me free from every human fault and frailty. But even when I seek your ultimate deliverance, help me to sense your presence and power in the midst of my many conflicts. And so what comes to me while reading this is that this is a way of kind of reinforcing our faith in what we know is true, and that no matter what comes along to try and deviate us from this path, that we will not be led astray. And people who are very intellectual, who are very intelligent, may look at somebody who has a childlike dependence on God as foolish, as silly. But those who rely on God wholeheartedly understand that they are safe, they are protected, that they will face no problem that they cannot overcome. And so some people just don't understand, and it's not their fault. They just haven't experienced what you've experienced. They don't understand your relationship with God because they have no relationship with God. And these people will often try and belittle you and poke fun at your beliefs. And you can tell that these people are just unconscious when they have this sense of arrogance and pride about them. One thing you often hear is, oh, you believe in God? Do you believe in Santa Claus as well? And this just stems from ignorance. And then this goes into kind of the relationship, the personal relationship with God, and how God affects us in our life and gets us through difficult situations, keeps us safe, that anytime we reach out to God, God is always there to respond. And this is what you will find, and I question anybody to try this if they may not know God or may be a bit questionable. Sit on your bed one day for a few nights, let's say 3 nights before you go to bed. Just repeat this simple phrase, and that is, God, I don't believe in you, but I'm willing to change my mind if you can open my eyes, if you can show me. Because God cannot refuse to answer a question or a cry for help that is honest, that has good intention. Even if you don't believe, it doesn't matter. See for yourself. Don't listen to the words that I say. Find through your own experience what is true. When one has a developed relationship with God, there is this sense of always being protected, that no matter where we go or where we are, we're always being watched over. We're always being guided. There's this kind of helping hand getting us through every situation that we face. And when our situations are too much to bear, we know that we can rest in the arms of God and seek shelter from our suffering. Psalms 3 also kind of goes into how we nurture our relationship with God by asking God to free us of anything that separates us from God. It kind of reaffirms our trust and faith in God to help us overcome our fleshly nature. That we can always ask for help and guidance through any situation that we are currently facing. And we can know that we will get through it somehow. And this is what is beautiful, because we don't actually have to figure things out. And so what this means practically is that when we have belief and trust that things are going to work themselves out, we create this reality through our expectations. Because when we stop relying so much on ourselves, on our mind, to figure things out, and we just be as we are and trust and have faith and believe, well then the divine light of consciousness works its way through our lives and guides our actions. It guides us to take the right action. Whereas people who don't necessarily have God in their lives, they're forced to rely only on themselves to figure out how to get through these situations and solve the problems they're facing. And because we are so limited, it's often difficult to figure things out. It's not that we can't, it's just we're going to make a lot more mistakes along the way. We're going to go down a lot of paths that might not be good for us. And here we could find one of the core principles of manifesting the life that we desire, is that God will provide us with a vision, with a dream that we can't ignore. And then secondly, we have to have absolute and unconditional belief and trust that we can manifest this dream, that it will be a reality. And then all we have to do is put one foot in front of the other, and the path will be revealed to us along the way. So we don't actually have to figure things out. We just have to go. We just have to listen to the voice within us. But most people in life, they ignore this calling to something greater, to something higher. It's like that idea of Jonah and the whale, I believe, where he was refusing to go on the journey that God told him to go on. And so instead he fled and went on a ship out into the ocean and tried to hide from his destiny. But what happened? Storms came and they threatened to destroy the ship. But Jonah realized that these things were occurring because of him. Because he knew he was refusing this calling from within. And so he was forced to jump overboard and found himself in the belly of the whale. He found himself in the underworld, in darkness. This is what I experienced in my own life, and I'm sure many others have experienced the same thing, where you kind of always knew what you should be doing, but it was always on the periphery of your awareness, and so you can kind of just easily ignore it. Stay busy, focus on these things, be practical. But that kills your soul. And you find yourself depressed in this dark place. I think Jim Carrey said it best. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, that depression is like your soul that is refusing to play this character that you've created. It needs deep rest from this person you believe yourself to be. Because oftentimes we placate to society's needs and conform. We conform to what our families want for us, to what our friends want from us, from the expectations of the world around us. But this causes us to live inauthentic lives. And somewhere deep down, I think we know this. That was kind of the whole theme behind Fight Club, is that people live lives of quiet desperation, and we value these things that aren't really that important. And then oftentimes we have some kind of crisis where we are forced to give up our previous identity because our soul or our shadow, the truth within us, is tired of being restrained, and so it bursts out of us in this kind of dramatic fashion that we can no longer ignore. But we don't have to wait for some grand crisis to get us to realize what we should be doing, because I think deep down we all know. I think we just have to quiet ourselves enough to listen. And one way you can discover your destiny or your calling is just take a day and just write out. If you could have everything you've ever wanted, time was not an issue, money was not an issue, what is it that you would really want? What would you be spending your time doing? Would you spend your time wasting away at a dead-end job for money that is near worthless? For money that is decreased in value since its creation? Trading it for time that increases in value every moment that it goes by? What is your heart calling you to do? And even if you don't have the means to do everything you want right away, just begin planting seeds. That's all you have to do. It doesn't take any effort to put a seed in the ground. And then just day by day, just water and nurture that seed just a tiny bit. You don't have to go out and create a whole big garden right away and bite off more than you can chew. Sometimes you only have a few minutes. Maybe this manifests as just writing down a spontaneous idea that you have for whatever it may be. Sometimes that's just, okay, let me watch a video, because where we choose to focus our attention, that is what we give our energy to. And what we give our energy to, that is what we give life. And so we create that in our reality. And the more energy you give something, the faster you create it. And so just keep planting seeds and nurture these seeds here and there. Write down your ideas. Don't ignore this calling, because there are adventures that await you beyond your wildest dreams. But you cannot have them so long as you ignore your destiny, so long as you trade what is valuable for that which is not. Don't make that mistake. So many people sacrifice their lives and give it to things they don't even enjoy doing. Do you want to be on your deathbed and regret that you didn't answer this calling, that you could have been more, that you knew there was a dream life that you wanted to live, and you chose not to go down that path? So realize this vision. God has already given you certain interests and certain desires, but you have to believe that it's possible. You have to trust that the path will be revealed to you. And then just start walking. Don't worry about the distractions. Get clear on what you want and who you want to be, so you can set boundaries on the things that take you away from your dream, from your vision. Because you're not getting anywhere unless you remain focused. And that is the problem that most people have, is that they're drifting, they're wandering through life with no direction. And it's so simple and it's so easy just to be aware of the vision that was already given to you. You just have to bring it up, allow it to arise, and believe that it is possible.